All right. Hello, boys and girls. Today we're going to continue with our science lesson, okay? And yesterday we talked about the three things, right? The three things that plants need to make their own food, and they were sunlight, water, and air, okay? And remember, this was called the seed leaves, right? So now we're going to keep going and see how our pumpkin begins to grow before it actually becomes a pumpkin, and then I'm going to give you something to do afterwards. Here we go. Soon, broad and prickly leaves with jagged edges unfold on the stem, but those seed leaves are still smooth and rounded. The seed leaves will dry up and the new leaves will make food for the pumpkin plant. So those original seed leaves that were growing and were making food for the plant, once these big leaves come in, then these little guys are all done with their job, and it's called a dry up. If you've ever seen like a dead flower outside or something like that, it kind of dries up. It's done. It's did its job. And now these big leaves are coming in to take over. Okay? Each pumpkin stem has many sets of tubes. One tube in each set takes water from the soil up to the leaves so they can make sugar. So that goes up, right? Now the other tube is in each set that sends food back down so that the pumpkin can grow. As the days grow warmer, the farmer tends the pumpkin patch to keep the weeds out. And the reason you need to keep the weeds out is because the weeds can take the water from the soil, and then the pumpkins won't be able to grow as much. Okay, so maybe you've ever heard somebody in your family who keeps a garden, they want to make sure that the weeds are not in there, and they might go out and pick weeds, right? Because they're stealing the good stuff from the plants that we like. Okay? Pumpkin plants don't stand up tall. As the stems grow, as they grow longer, they sprawl out over the ground, or they kind of stretch out over the ground. And before long, they are twisted and tangled vines. So if you've ever gone into a pumpkin patch or gone into like a real farm to go pumpkin picking, not just like gone and pick out of a group, then you'll see that you're walking through these vines and they're all over the ground. Okay? And soon, so there's no pumpkins yet. There's still just vines growing all over. Soon the flower buds will appear on the vines. And after each bud opens, its orange petals grow bigger and bigger. They look like bright orange umbrellas. All right, and actually we're gonna stop there today. Actually, no, I'm gonna stop here today. Sorry, I forgot. During the heat of the day, the flowers will close, and then at night they open again. The bright orange flowers attract swarms of bees, and the bees buzz about carrying pollen to make new pumpkins so that the pumpkins can grow. Okay, so their job is to help the pumpkins grow, so the bees help. All right, so now what I need you to do, that's where I want to stop today, okay? What I would like you to do is think about all the steps we've talked about for a pumpkin so far. So we started with one little guy that was planted in the ground, and that was the seed. Okay, then it grew roots and everything. Remember you drew that, and I forgot to draw roots on mine. You drew that yesterday. So your seed leaves had roots coming out the bottom, right? So here's your seed leaves. So number one was the seed. The next step was the seed leaves. Then this one, we just learned today that these little guys, which I put here, they'll kind of shrivel up and turn brown and kind of die out when these big prickly green ones come into play. So that's step three, okay, these big leaves, and they turn into vines, right? So here then Miss Noble drew some vines, and then these big orange, they almost look like stars or umbrellas, these big orange flowers. And that's going to be step 4 for now. Okay, so that's where we're going to stop for today. And then tomorrow we'll keep learning about the steps of a pumpkin. So what I'd like you to do is for today, I'd like you to draw these 4 steps and write underneath them the order in which the pumpkin starts to grow. So again, the first step is the seed. The second step is the seed leaves. The third step is the seed leaves kind of die. Okay, they go away because they did their job. And then those big prickly green ones come in. And then they start to go out on the ground into big vines. And on those vines grow these big orange flowers. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is your job today, to go ahead and draw those first 4 steps. It's called the life cycle of a pumpkin, how a pumpkin grows. All right, boys and girls, I will see you later. Bye-bye.